Hello, ninjas. Today you're with me, Ruth, and my teammate, my bro, my friend, Garrett. Garrett, how are you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. We just enjoyed some pretty good pasta bolognese. It was beautiful. We're in beautiful Stockholm with a beautiful weather. Not today, sadly, but overall the weather is pretty good. So Garrett, today we're doing podcast with you because you have a lot of fans. We can see it in your TikTok videos, comment section. We can see it in your Instagram reels. And today I think is good so that you can answer some of my questions I've prepared for you,
Let's go.
right? And we can take it like freestyle. You can freestyle here and there and just talk how you want freely.
Yeah.
So we'll start with the basic. What's your name, age, where are you from?
My name is Gareth Mr. Maurice. I am 23 years old. I was born in South Africa and now living in the UK,
Yeah, what city were you born in?
in Durban.
Durban, okay. Can you talk a bit about your childhood so some people who don't know about it can like get something new to know?
I was a pretty naughty kid, I would say. Didn't really care about school. I always tried to pick fights and be annoying. I wanted to always just kind of look for attention. I was like a young kid, but I always had a lot of competitiveness inside of me. So I started to be quite sporty. I played a lot of sports, my main one being rugby, before I played Counter-Strike. And then from there, I just got the competitive drive and the desire to win.
Yeah, what else sports did you do besides rugby?
Played soccer, hockey, tennis, swimming, athletics, high jump, long jump, shot put, javelin, all those things.
Interesting. Okay, so you talk that you're really competitive by your nature. Can you please tell me how did you get into CS? Because a lot of people get there like from older brothers or something like that. Can you please tell me your story?
I played computer games since I was 6, but I was mainly PlayStation and then computer, so I was kind of back and forth between console and PC. And then I fell in love with Call of Duty growing up until Black Ops, and then my ex-teammate Fady found Counter-Strike and he introduced it to me, and I just fell in love with the game. I enjoyed the strategic part, and from there I just played every single day when I came home from school.
Okay, so what age is it again?
Around
Playing actively CS?
12, 13.
12, 13, okay. What else games do you play besides CS? Like, do you have any maybe to chill off, relax?
When I have time, I will play World of Warcraft or Rust or Rapper, but I don't really have time to play anything else. It's maybe about an hour. More just relaxing games than FPS.
I mean, it depends also what is the plan with the team, right?
Yeah.
When you like a player break, vacation, you can play some of these games more.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so as I know, not many people maybe know it. You have been traveling across entire world, basically. Can you tell us a bit about that? Because you started from South Africa, then you went to America, and then from America you went to Europe.
Yeah.
Can you please tell us something about that? How did it feel? How did it feel to leave your family behind, go out to something new, like a new challenge, new world? Tell us something about that.
I was in 2020. It's when COVID just started. I was in South Africa at the time, and being a South African, you don't really have a way out of the country. It's very isolated from the rest of the world. So there was not a very big opportunity for you to really get your name out there or grow. No one really pays attention to anyone if you're not relatable. And I remember walking around the mall. I was at like a KFC or something, and I got a message from the owner of ATK at the time, and he messaged me saying that you are the biggest prospect in South Africa, and the current team that they had at the time was like Sonic and OC, JT, and everyone, and the South Africans in the team at the time were saying that I'm the up-and-coming player and that I'm someone that should be looked at, and he just told me that he wants to build a team around me and send me overseas when we became the best in South Africa. So I had the opportunity to pick and choose people around me that I would want. So I found the 5 best players that I thought would fit into the team that I wanted. And we ended up being unbeatable. We never lost a best of 3 in South Africa for a year and a half. We won every single tournament, and we got to a point where we couldn't develop anymore. And in South Africa, you could only practice from 7 at night until 10, so 3 hours. So you'll do 1 hour of theory and 2 scrims if you could get 2 scrims, but there's only about 100 people in South Africa, so you're playing against the same opponents the whole time. You're playing Premier against the same people the whole time. And in 2021, during COVID, we couldn't get into America because of COVID restrictions or anywhere in Europe without needing to have work visas or anything. So we decided to go to Mexico, where we stayed in a hotel for about a month, and then we managed to find a house where we were able to rent it, and we had a couple of roster changes, and I stayed in Mexico for about 2 years, having some mixed results and creating connections where I could. But Mexico was not a very nice place to be in. You couldn't really speak English to anyone. It felt very hostile. I had a few problems there with my old coach Spray, where there was some problems with like robberies and things.
Yeah.
So we just didn't feel safe. So I decided to move to Canada, where I had family there. But I didn't know my family. I had never met them. It was just like my dad's cousin, and it was just an opportunity that I had to take. It was in a more nicer place, and if it was with family, I would maybe feel more comfortable. And then after Canada, I got dropped from ATK. They lost finances, so there was no money for the organization anymore. So for 2 months, I was back in South Africa with no team, no future, I had this big passion and desire, but I had no
Tough times.
opportunity to really go anywhere. So with being in America, I created a network. So I decided, and I told my parents, I'm just gonna message anyone that I could, and Limitless at the time said that they would take me, but they won't pay for a salary, and they will pay for half of my food. So they paid for my rent. I paid for my own flight from South Africa to Canada, and I rented a room in an Airbnb. So I had to share a toilet, I had to share a kitchen, I had to share all the amenities in the house with random people every single week because it's an Airbnb, so it changed all the time. And I stayed there for about 2 months with no salary, and I had to use my savings on food. I only had my bed and my PC. There was nothing else.
So you're like in a kind of grind mode.
Yeah. It was just too big of a passion to let it go.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what I did, and NIP contacted me with the Young Ninjas project, and that's when I got the opportunity. So I got a flight to the UK, and same situation as Canada. I didn't know anyone in the UK. My family lived and stayed in South Africa. So luckily my mom was born in the UK, so I got a UK passport. So visas and everything was not an issue. And same situation as Canada. I rented my own room and a house. My mom knew a friend of a friend, so I was able to be with a South African family, but I didn't know them. They were just random people. It was a mom and a son. It was nice because it was the same culture. It wasn't as if I was living with people that didn't understand gaming. The son was a gamer and things like that, so we kind of understood each other. And then I rented the room, and I'm in that house till today. The people that I was living with moved away. They went back to South Africa, and my whole family 3-4 months later, once I moved to the UK, decided to come and stay with me. So now I'm permanently living in the UK with my whole family.
Yeah, so now you're kind of together. Everything's like on chill. Before you told me about this, from Africa to Mexico to Canada to UK, it's pretty rough, right? You're alone, new challenges, everything is new. It was hard, so to say, moment in the life where you grow as a person, as an individual. But now you're here, you're back with family. And there's my next question. How did your family react at the start when you were still in South Africa? How old were you back then in South Africa before going to Mexico?
I was 17.
Yeah, young boy, 17 years old. How did your parents react to that? That's the next.
My parents were never fully supportive of my Counter-Strike career for a long time, and it took some convincing. So I decided to kind of brainstorm away, because I was not allowed to play during the week. I could only play on the weekends. So Valve in 2015 posted player profiles of different players, and the one that really stood out to me and to my family was Pasha Biceps. He was someone that took gym and really focused on Poland and actually went into depth into his routine, and my parents actually understood what I wanted to do, and they saw the money, they saw the stadiums, they actually saw it as a career, and they decided to allow me to play during the week, and that's how I was able to accelerate my routines and my performance as a player. And yeah, since that day they've supported me. So when the opportunity of joining ATK came, they knew the understanding that I would leave with my mindset. They knew that I would be out of South Africa at some point, and yeah, they've just supported me ever since. There has never been a day in which they've doubted me as a player, as a person, as a son. So yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I have also seen these profile stories, or how do you name it?
Player profile.
Yeah, player profiles. Remember Kenny Eswan? I was rewatching it many times. How he also plays. Remember in Lower Tunnel with Ope, Dust 2, and he's playing on black bars, and it's like CS:GO. It's like insane vibes. And I remember there's Pasha Biceps and some more OG players. I think somebody from NAP there also was. Not sure. Yeah. So obviously you had a lot of challenges through this, and you need to have like this power inside you, right? And as we can see, you have it. But maybe there's like, you maybe have some role model you look up to maybe get this additional motivation when you really feel like doing nothing. Do you have any?
I'd say role model wise, I'm a religious guy, so I look towards God as a person that helped structure my life. But Kobe has been someone with a similar mindset to me, measuring your progression on the daily. So just focusing on what you can do within the day and within the present. So I just adapt a lot of the mindset that he had when he played basketball, and I transferred it into my Counter-Strike career.
So you also take something from that into CS, right? And I'm playing with him in one team, so basically I can see it. You were also the one who told me in rough times to like listen to Kobe Bryant playlist, remember, and it helps a lot. Trust me, ninjas, take notes. So obviously people who follow you more, they know that you're shooting 800 DM kills a day, which is a really tough challenge, especially when you're IGL. You need to watch 100 demos a day, you need to play pracs, you need to help your teammates, and at the same time, you need to work on your DM. It's really hard. Is it something what comes from Kobe Bryant's mentality, like be the best, be the black mamba, so to say? Can you also tell me, like, how do you apply this Kobe Bryant mentality thing is in your routine, in your CS, in your performance?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it yourself. Simple words, routine. I think routine is just something you do every day, and it becomes second nature. I think what makes inconsistency is when you're inconsistent in your routine. You know, you have different ways that you're going to bed, waking up, you're eating differently, you're not really doing a walk, you're doing gym, you know, all of these different things. I think it all kind of ties into what you want to get out of it. I think it's healthy balance to figure yourself out as a player and as a person. What works for you, how many hours you sleep, what do you like to eat, what downtime do you have, what actually makes you relax, what makes you want to be motivated and disciplined every single day. You know, I think when you have an undying passion for something, it doesn't really matter the amount of work that you put in. It's just your passion never dies. It's you always want to figure out what you want to achieve, you know. And with Counter-Strike, it's just such an advanced game. You can always find something. There's countless demos to watch. You know, for me as a person, it comes from Kobe, because I might not be the best player, I might not be the smartest player, but the one mindset that I have is that you'll never outwork me. My teammates, including yourself, will do deathmatch, and I'll watch you be in deathmatch, and I'll make sure you get an extra kill. So when you wake up and you go on Instagram and you see the story, you're sitting there saying I did 1,000 kills, and then I'm there doing 1,200. So I'm letting you know that you will never outwork me. And even if you beat me in deathmatch, I'm watching more demos than you. And that is one way that I will make sure that the people around me are either working as hard as me, or they're not, or like pretty close to me. And if you don't work as hard as me, then I will always have the upper hand as you. And it's just a daily progression. And I have a set routine that I post on my socials that people can already see. And with that, it's just doing it every single day. Because if you just measure yourself on the daily progression, the more you look at it on the present moment, when you do look back 1 to 5 years from now, the amount of progression you've made compared to if you had to sit here and say, okay, well, 5 years from now, I want to be winning a major. 5 years from now, I want to be in a tier 1. Last year I was really not in a good mental state. If you just focus on this starts to happen with your life. You just start going up because you're no longer thinking of this, and then you start having a bad game, and then you start thinking about, oh no, but what if no one sees me in tier 1, and oh, these people were saying this in HLTV comments and stuff like that. But if you just focus on what you want to do in your life, then it becomes really easy on what you want to achieve. And it might seem really hard work to everyone else, but to me, it's just my normal routine.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I had this issue as well that I didn't had any routine before, and I was like kind of inconsistent. Some days I feel bad, some days I feel good, and I went to you. You actually helped with me with that a lot, and you're like a routine god. It helps you a lot as well, and it helped me. So ninjas who wants to become a tier 1 player, try to make routine. You need to eat good, you need to be ready every day doing the same thing, go bed same time, wake up same time, go to gym, do sports, balance your life out, spend time with family. So yeah. Okay, so we talked about this. I'm curious, like, how do you see yourself as CS player? Can you tell me about your strengths and about your weaknesses? Because it's interesting.
I think for me as a CS player, I like to lead. I like to support people. I get satisfaction from my teammates getting 30 kills or my teammates playing really well because I know that I've set them up. For me as a person, I enjoy helping the people around me, whether it's just educating Counter-Strike or helping in day-to-day life. That is just what I am as a person. And I think for me as a Counter-Strike player, I'm someone that's quite aggressive. I like to take the space for my team and set them up, as I said. And I think overall, I just am someone that likes to work hard. I don't really know what my weaknesses would be. I would just say maybe I'm a little bit too focused on everyone else around me, trying to make them better, that I forget about myself. And I think it's not really a weakness in my gameplay.
I wouldn't also say it's a weakness. It's like you're a captain. You have to do kind of these things. So
yeah, I don't really think I have a weakness from myself. It's more of what someone would have to point out to me, or if someone's anti-shredding me, they can say it. But I think for me as myself, every time I feel a weakness in my gameplay or I feel that I don't understand something, I have amazing teammates around me. I have an amazing organization that I have people around me I can ask and help develop me, or I just go and find it out myself, and that's the beauty of Counter-Strike. You might feel weakness in your movement or this and that. You have so many resources to actually become a better player.
Yeah, I agree. And you have amazing teammates, Jacob, Rud, Mahar, Slime, to ask them out. Like you did one day. Remember we did that much, I remember that, yeah. So, one interesting question, how would you describe a CS to people who don't know what CS is? For example, when you showed your parents first time what is CS, how did you explain that to them? Like, did you put a TV on, like a game Vitality against NAP, and you explain it, so this is the map, there are 7 maps, this is that position? Like, tell me about that, I'm curious.
I think the best way to describe it is that you got to break it up in 2 things. I think Counter-Strike it's a game, but I think it goes a bit further than it's actually a sport. I think talking from a parent's perspective or people that don't understand esports, it is like any other sport except you're playing on a computer. And I think the biggest thing to really get out in the world is that you're not just someone that's sitting behind the computer for 8 hours. Technically you are, but you are going to the gym, you have nutritionists, you have sports psychologists, you have physios, you're doing an actual sport. It's just behind a computer. And I think it needs to get more exposure because I do think that there's a lot of young talent that wants to develop, but they're hindered or they're blocked by their parents because their parents think that they're playing 8-9 hours a day and they're not moving and things. And I think, again, what we've spoken about is having the balance as people. You can't just sit behind the computer for 12 hours and you need to go to the toilet, you need to socialize,
Yeah, especially I think it's when you're like 14, 15, like when you're young, because you need to develop. If you're just gonna sit at your PC 14 hours a day, you're gonna be cooked in like a few years. Maybe you don't see it right now, but trust me, in a few years you'll probably see some mental illnesses, right?
I think the Counter-Strike side of things, it's a 5 versus 5 army-based game. You have someone that defends and you have someone that attacks. The attacking team's objective is to plant the bomb. within a certain time frame, and the defending team has to stop the attacking team from planting the bomb. And at halftime, you switch sides, and the person that gets 13 is the one that wins the game. And I think the most basic way is just to watch that approach, look at the team that is attacking, and it's the orange team, the terrorists. They are the ones that plant the bomb, and then just look at the defending. If you just see how that works, you don't really have to look at all the details and, okay, the smokes are landing here and this and that, or this person gets 3 kills or whatever the case is. I think if you just understand from that perspective, you can for sure understand the game. It's the same thing as watching any other sport. I don't know much about basketball in terms of how you get a foul, or you meant to throw this way, or what's the rules behind it. But I understand if one person shoots and goes in the net, that person scores, And I think that's the same thing if you just look at Counter-Strike. One team's planning, one team's defusing, or you just kill them all for both sides.
Do you sometimes watch games with your family together? Like, for example, if there's like a major finals rotor, you watch. Yeah. Do they enjoy it?
Yeah, my mom will often message me. I think a few days ago she would message me, "Oh, did you see that Spirit lost?" She's quite obsessed with watching Donk lose, because he is the person that everyone fears right now in CS2. So she would watch the games generally. It doesn't matter what time it is, whether Spirit and FaZe are playing or Vitality. She is always involved in Counter-Strike itself.
Yeah. What about your dad?
My dad's a hard-working guy, so when he does he puts some time for me, but he won't put in the time to watch the other games, not because he doesn't want to. It's just he has a job and things he wants to achieve. So yeah, the only real person he cares about when it comes to Counter-Strike is me. And I think that's completely fine. But yeah, as I said, they're the biggest support, and my mom understands anything. You can ask anything in Counter-Strike, smoke grenades or rotation. She understands the game.
Yeah, and they also watch your games, right?
Yeah.
Because you have said it many times, it's pretty good. You have a really supportive family, which understands the game, and I think it's like really big difference for you as a person. You know that you have a family behind you who actually supports you.
Yeah.
Because we know there's been a lot of cases in CS, like for people I know, for some pro players, like that their parents didn't support them until they made it. It's good that your parents support you instantly from your beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, can you please give me a summary of your career so far? How it's been? How is it going? What's the plan for future?
I think in the beginning, it was kind of 50-50. As I said, living in South Africa, you never really know if you're going to get out. And I was one of the, I wouldn't really say lucky ones, because I always put in the work. And even from a young age, I was just adding people from Europe and going onto their Steam friend list and adding them and just asking a bunch of questions like, what can I do to get to Europe and things. I just had that mindset from a young age. But I think the summary of my career, I don't think it's gone as good as I would want it to, but I've definitely developed as a person in the way that it should. I think who I am today, I had to go through everything, and I wouldn't want to change anything that I've been through. I think achievements-wise, it should have been better. I definitely think I should have won a tournament here or qualified for an event here, but you and me both know it's Counter-Strike. Anyone can have a really good game or just something. Anything can happen, so I think achievements-wise, I think it could have been better, but I think for me as a person and who I am today, I think it all fell into place perfectly.
Yeah. I asked you about your role model in real life. Is there like a role model you look up to in CS-wise?
I think someone I admired quite a lot was blamef in the complexity and Astralis days, because he worked really hard, and he was just someone that helped me a lot even when I was in South Africa. Spray put me in contact with him, and we would often sit after his practice days, because ours wasn't that long, and we would just sit and he would watch our demos back and help develop me and show me what I'm not doing well on. And I think he's a person that has a kind of like, he's a Michael Jordan and I'm the Kobe Bryant. He is kind of like big brother to me in a sense, because he's helped develop me in ways, in other ways. And I think Spray is also someone that I admired a lot. He was my coach for 5 years, and he's been since ATK days up until this year. He's been my coach. He's been my wingman, and I think we both developed in accelerating paces. He developed me as like an IGL. I think blamef developed me as a player and what I can think about, but Spray put me on the right direction to IGLing, and he constantly gave me homework and developed me in ways that I don't think a lot of people can. And it was just nice to have those two people in my life, because if there was anything that I wasn't happy with or I need to work on, they were always smarter than me. So I always had someone that could develop me, you know?
Yeah. So shout out to Blamef and Spray XD,
Yeah.
Dan Hogan. Okay, next question. It's a big question. What's your dream in CS? What do you want to achieve? And we can also touch a little bit of CS. Like you can start with CS and then also real life dreams. Maybe if you don't want to share them, then of course keep it to you.
I think the big dream that I have is when I leave this world, to inspire generations of people that coming from a place where you feel it's too grim and dark and that things aren't really looking up, you know, whether you're in anywhere in the world, whether you're in a place that has a lot of war, if you're in a place that has a lot of poverty, or even if you're in a place that doesn't have any of that, but maybe don't have a good situation at home or whatever. I think what I want to do is inspire the people that hard work can get you somewhere, and as long as you put your mind to it, it doesn't really matter what your boundaries are or what you're facing, you can get through anything. I think Counter-Strike wise, I want to be an IGL that people look up to, in a sense that I maybe developed the game in a certain way, or I was again like an IGL like Carrigan. I think he's someone that I look up to in terms of the IGLing phase, because he's taken so many different teams, and I kind of view it in the same way that I am. I know we're in different tiers, but I've had countless different teams, and I think all the teams that I've had, we've done something. And no matter what team I had in ATK, no matter what team I had in Young Ninjas, we were always a force to be reckoned with. And I think it definitely comes down to the structure and the leadership part of the team in order for a team to flourish, because I believe it's never a bad team, it's a bad leader. I think you can always blame the leader, and you know the type of responsibility that you have. So winning majors and things is obviously really cool, but for me, it's you're not really going to think too much about the person's achievements. You're going to more think about them as a person. You know, when you think about people that are retired right now, you don't, for example, think of Forrest and say, oh, he's won so many majors, he won Cologne, he did this. You look at him as the person that he is and what he leaves, what inspiration he leaves as a person, how he influenced the Swedish community, how, you know, goofy he is and things like that, right? And that's kind of what I want to do with my career. And I think the last one is just to retire my parents. You know, I think that's generally any person's dream, at least, to give back to your parents in some sense, because you wouldn't be here today without them and what they have done for you throughout your whole life, you know. So I think those are the three big ones that is my biggest goals, and that's what I've always worked towards.
Yeah. So I had in my mind a question that I'll ask you, like, what you will do to get there, to the person you want to be, but I think you responded it while you were saying answering to my first question. So I have off topic. So for the past 9 months, it's November, you've been playing with Young Ninja's new roster. Can you please take each one of them and describe them in one word? We can start with Mahar, for example.
Mahar is deadly.
Deadly, okay, deadly. One letter only, one word. Jacob.
Star player.
Star player, okay. Slime, Emil.
Trying to think like what the word would be, but you know, calculated.
Calculated, okay. Rude.
Goofy.
Goofy, okay. Z94.
Dad.
Dad, okay. And I know this guy is not really part anymore for team, but Henke.
DJ.
DJ, okay. So it's been some time. You've been already here in UK. You also have been some long time in Mexico and Canada, I assume. So could you please compare and rate where's the living best right now?
Canada was the best.
Why? Can you give me a few words about that?
The people were nicer and better. There was a lot more culture, and I think the experience was better because I was with like family. I have my current family now with me in the UK, but there I met with family I haven't known, so the experiences were a bit more unique. I think just Canada overall, like the weather is kind of what I like. In the summer it's 30 degrees, and winter it's -15, so kind of what I enjoy.
You like 4 weathers, right? In the country you live.
Yeah, I mean, UK you have all the seasons in one day. So
in one day, yeah. That's something you don't really like.
Yeah, it can rain, it can be sun, hail, rainbows, snow.
And Mexico, as you mentioned before, was pretty bad experience, right? Living there because of the dangerous stuff happening there, you don't feel secure and all of that. Okay, I think here we can touch a little bit of your main team journey, how it went, because as all we know, especially people who watch the YouTube channel Major Blog from China MR, you and Jacob CS, or another team friend from Young Ninjas Jacob, they both got promoted to main team. Garrett got promoted full-time, right? And Jacob was on tryout or like test period or something like that. So we can touch a little bit on that because as we know, you went 3-2 actually in RMR and you had to qualify for major, but then you get the last game against Spirit and you lost it. Can you tell me about that experience? And I'm not talking only about like the tournament, but about everything. How you joined it, how did it feel, what were the challenges, okay?
I think main team's a bit of a different experience from Young Ninjas, and just the players already, you can feel a big difference. There's less you need to do and talk about. People already know situations, scenarios in game, so kind of eye-gelling was a little bit easier. I think things that I feel I need to micro, I don't need to do because it's already happening. People know the reactions, people know what needs to be happening. I think the overall staff is a little bit more intense because you're on the main team now, so there's more fixation on you, and I wouldn't really say you have pressure or stress. I never really felt that I had this massive amount of pressure because I'm playing for the main team or anything like that. I think just the way in which things go, you can feel you're like cared for, you know. People more want to be involved in your day-to-day journey. You're getting more DMs, you're getting more attention, you're getting experience, you're developing faster. I think the overall experience was good. I think I developed in a small period. The situation that happened, I don't really agree with. I think it definitely could have gone differently. I think, as I said, I deserved to be there.
Yeah.
I put in the work, and I don't think I was any form of the problem with the results that happened. I think when I joined the main team, there was already some problems going on. I think there was a lot of roster changes, a lot of different energy in the mentality of the players. I think people wanted to achieve more, but I think there was just so many uncontrollables that kept happening, and they weren't able to perform as individuals. And I think some players felt more of the pressure than others. I think when we went to the major, I think we had some really good preparation. I think we felt really strong. It was my first time going to China, and I really enjoyed China. It's an experience I would want every Counter-Strike player to attend, just because of the massive amount of love from the fans. China is amazing. Even just as a person, like to go and experience China, I think is amazing. The tournaments leading up to the major, we didn't do too well in. I think Elisa and Spencer Kupen, and we played some online tournaments. We didn't really play our best. We definitely should have done better, but that's just how it goes sometimes, you know, it's Counter-Strike. And when we were in China, we had some really good synergy as a team. I think all the problems we were feeling kind of got ironed out. I think Trolls really worked with the players quite well. We had a pretty good boot camp leading into things. And yeah, I mean, kind of the way that I view it, we beat the teams we should have beaten. We lost to the teams that at the time were G2 were the favorites of winning the major. I believe Spirits were also doing really well.
They're all up there, I think.
Yeah, and Heroic were the top 5 team. I mean, it was Nerd, Shush, Kixon lineup, so they were also good. Yeah, so I was quite happy with the result. I mean, Spirit's hard team, but I definitely think we could have won if Donk didn't do this 4K on Vertigo.
I still remember that.
I think if that didn't happen, we probably would have gone third map, and who knows what would have happened. But yeah, I think I just took every experience that I got from the main team, everyone that was around me. I just tried to be a sponge and absorb the moments, the experiences, lessons that I could learn. And yeah, here we are today.
It's a great mentality that you go there and you try to sponge everything like a SpongeBob.
Yeah.
To get all the info, everything, so you grow as a person and a player. It's really good. What's been the best country to travel to? Because right now you took China, and I was like, Oh, nice this question. Because you lived in Mexico, Canada, UK, and of course South Africa, but Canada was top there. But you traveled to much more countries. So I'd like to hear what's the favorite you've been to. Maybe not for a living, but just on a trip.
Canada's still up there, but again, I think it's a little bit biased because I had a lot more experiences because I lived there. But I think a country that I traveled to for a tournament, I think Dubai is good. When I
You have been in Dubai.
yeah, I've
Wow.
been to quite a few countries. I think Dubai was nice, but we stayed in like a little other part called Abu Dhabi. So that was quite nice. It was an experience because we stayed in the Yas Hotel, which was the hotel on the Formula One track. And during that time, Formula One was actually happening. So
Yeah.
I went and sat and had breakfast with the Aston Martin team. And just, as a 16-year-old going to Abu Dhabi and seeing all these Ferraris and things, you felt like you were in paradise. I think some
Yeah.
other countries that were really nice, Denmark, Estonia, Sweden's nice. Latvia's on the cards when it does happen. I think it's going to be a good idea. Yeah. So yeah, I'll take Canada overall, but CS-wise, I think Dubai, just because of the experience that you get there.
Yeah. Okay, Gert. I think I had a pretty good talk tonight,
I agree.
this evening.
Mhm.
We can slowly try to wrap the things up. How do you feel about the talk we had? Anything maybe you want to add from yourself?
Yeah, I think it's good. I hope this conversation helps inspire the people.
Yeah, and also get to know you more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always available. So if anyone is out there and wants to talk more about my journey or need some advice, I'm always available. And hopefully this talk inspires them and lets them know that anything's achievable.
Yeah, exactly. Also, make sure to follow Garrett TV on TikTok, Garrett in X, aka Twitter, Garrett in YouTube, and Garrett TV in Twitch as well. Make sure to follow him, like him, type good things in comments, hearts, support him during the games. Also me, we are teammates, so if I feel bad, it's gonna transit into him. So yeah, thank you for this amazing talk. I'm happy.
Yep.
And see you next time. And type in comments what video you want to be next.